Huh.
And so I got a 1956 Gretsch here on the bench, and this guy just picked this up, and I already took some of the stuff off of it the other day. Pick guard's right here, and the bridge is right here. So I just I always position things kind of the way they came off, so I don't have to think about putting it back on. So the bridge pickup here is not working, and I was working under the strings here the other day, and I pulled it out and I checked best I could on the wire, and I flipped it over and checked the wiring in the cavities, and everything looks pretty good. He did have somebody else trying to replace the ring here underneath the pickup. I don't know if you can see on this one. See if I zoom in tighter, if you can see it or not. But there's a little celluloid ring that goes underneath here that kind of makes up for the radius in the body. You can see these pickups so there's just this little celluloid ring. So the one that was on it was disintegrated, and they got a new one, and the guy broke it trying to put it on. And I got another one now that got shipped to me in there. I haven't opened it yet. And so I can get in there and get at it, because I was trying to fiddle this thing out from underneath the strings, and it just looked like with you can't see what I'm doing. Ta-da! With three screws in the tailpiece and taking the strap button off, I can just push this tailpiece back and take it off. Except maybe I can't because I don't have enough string slack. Oh, see? So the body feels pretty, it's light there as well. There's no resist. It's not all it's supposed to go. Come on. There's our open back there. There we go. So this will all just go over here now, over to the side, out of the way. That's interesting. You can see where the rest of the body has gotten darker. Here we go. You can see I had this piece of tape out here to help protect the body. I'm surprised by the gauge of the wires in this thing. I don't know if there's enough slack in this to get it out of here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. I don't want to take the camera off the tripod just to show you that, but can you see that wire? This size, I think, it's got to be 5/16 of an inch in diameter. Anyway, even this pickup wire here is pushing a 1/4 inch in diameter. So I was trying to figure out if I need my visor on. I messed with this the other day, and I couldn't tell if this wire maybe was broken, but you just got a pickup wire coming into here, and just a piece of shrink tube on that, and it looks like I know you can't see anything from that direction, but I need a pointer. Where'd my razor blade go? It was here a second ago. There it is. This there's a bit of insulation right here that's chipped and is just falling off of here. You can see that. And so that wire, oh, you know, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe this wire is grounding out inside here, and that's why I'm not getting it. Because I'm pretty sure this is my pickup lead coming out of here. So maybe I'm just grounded out down in there. Trying to see if there's a way to get this apart. There's actually just a couple screws right here and here. I should be able to pull this bracket off of here. But they've got it's like the braid on this thing is grounded. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's all that's wrong with this. Maybe I can tell if I plug it in. More likely to hear. So, in case you don't know, I'm just saying, in case you don't know, if you have the hot lead on a pickup grounded, it's not like you have, sparks and fire like you do when you're dealing with household current. Obviously, if you arc the hot and the ground together on that, or even on your 12-volt battery, you get sparks galore and the wires melt. But what you get here is the circuit just goes dead because you're talking milliamps or whatever it actually is. It's not enough that you're going to make things melt. It just grounds the circuit out, and then you don't have any noise. So let's see though if I can make it make noise. Everything's on. Both pickups are on actually, so I should be getting some noise here. I am. That's my neck pickup. I'm not now, so I'm only on the bridge pickup. And you can hear that I have noise now. So actually, that's what's happening now. I can prove my theory by making sure this kind of grounding this wire out. Okay, maybe not. Now I got nothing. Now wait a minute. When it's in both positions. Now, see, I think it's just this pickup hanging a certain way is grounding itself out here with this lead. Whoa. Yeah, it's right there. Right there at the pickup. So I'm going to pull this bracket off and desolder that ground lead. Pull that out of there and put myself a piece of shrink tape back onto that hot lead on that. So I'm hoping that I can do this. I can make this right by just pushing some shrink wrap down far enough into this. But if from what I can tell on this outside casing, as soon as I get to a point where it's loose, it's going to just flake off again. So hopefully, worst case scenario is I'd have to replace the lead, and I don't necessarily want to do that. I don't know how terribly valuable this guitar is, but it's a 1956, so I'd like to keep it as original as possible. It's as old as I am. So let's be kind. All right, that's what's going to happen. So meanwhile, I'm going to disconnect or just unscrew these two screws here and see what happens. That gives me enough room to mess around with anything, or I'm going to have to disconnect it from the pots to pull the pickup out and work on it. And it's a little cramped. And I am a little nervous about this wire right here. This piece of wire is insulated. And I doubt if that's what they wound the coil with, but that's what they pushed out to make the connection here with. I should, yeah, well, I'm going to see about this bracket first of all. I don't want to move this this lead coming out here so much that I have issues. And that screwdriver is too big to do anything. So let's put it away. I got to move the camera to get to my screwdriver drawer. That way, get one of my skinny screwdrivers out of the other drawer. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to do is take this piece of shrink tube off of here and disconnect this so that I don't, I'm not continually stressing this little teeny wire back and forth. So I'm going to take care of that. Well, here's what I said, was it only going to necessary? Alright. That was actually like some sort of a weird wire nut thing. Maybe. Boy. Alright, I'm going to heat up my iron, and I'm just going to put some heat on that and try to separate those two wires. Like I said, I'm really don't want to over stress this little tiny wire. You can't even see it, but it's going right into the back of the pickup right here through the bake light, and actually bake light or some sort of epoxy casting or something, and it's just kind of molded right into it. And it would be real easy to just to stress that a few too many times right there and have that snap off on me. So I'm going to be very, very careful with that. Okay, here we go. I'll try to hold still. This bracket right here, which you can see has a screw right here, and then right, if I move everything right there. So I got this on a close-up, otherwise you're not going to see it, but it's hard to tell where I'm going. And so the wire just went up through here, soldered into the ground, soldered here, and then the rest of the hot lead came out and connected over to that guy right there, that wire right there. That's the wire I'm trying not to keep bending back and forth down here, right where it connects to the bobbin here. On closer inspection over at the guitar, this lead, I had that on there while I was working on it. This lead right here is has no insulation. There's a bit of insulation right there. Let's see if I can get you better. Yeah, bit of insulation right there, but right where it goes into this ground here, there's no insulation. So it's got the just the grounding shield. It's like this. I'll grab another piece of wire I got laying here. It's like this stuff, which you can't see. So you just have the braid on the outside of the wire, and then you have an insulated center lead. So that's what's happened here, but the insulation is completely gone, and I can only assume that there is insulation farther in here, because we were able to get it to play once in a while. But unfortunately, as soon as if I strip this wire back, I'm pretty sure that this insulation is going to just break off again. So I'm going to try to strip it back a bit and see what's going on with it. And if it just, because I don't have tons of lead here, so if I can't strip it back into some insulation that hasn't cooked itself, I'm going to have to call him and find out if he'd be willing to let me use some of my normal insulated braid type wire. So yeah, there you go. Almost. Oh, it's almost going to focus. There you go. Sort of. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and peel that back a little bit. This guy's off somewhere at the moment, and so I won't know. Well, I'll text him and see what he wants to do if this doesn't look like it's gonna work. The bummer is that all of this wire is 62 years old, and if this is normal, all that insulation in there has degraded that much. I think maybe what happened was just the fact that the guy had it out and he was messing with it and twisting it around trying to get this celluloid ring on, and maybe that just took the twisted the wire enough that it broke that insulation up. As soon as I pulled it out of that little housing, though, there was nothing on it. So, and I didn't find any like large pieces of it laying here. So I think it's just fairly degraded, and it's not going to be happy. But I'm going to strip it back a little bit, see what I find out, and I will let you know. Hi guys, how you doing? Yeah, so I stripped back about an inch of outer insulation on that wire, and then I very, very carefully untwisted the braid, unwove the braid, I should say, all the way down around there, and the insulation was on that inner wire, but I just barely tweaked that inner wire to find out how that was going to hang on there, and it just plopped right off. So, and I could continue to do that, but I'm pretty sure that's just going to be that way through the entire thing. So I'm going to recommend to my customer that he replace it with this braided type stuff, and you can see I just have this as a test cable, but you just have the inner wire and then you have the braid, and that's pretty much what that is, except that the braid is also covered with the rubber insulation. So I can replace that lead. That's not a huge deal at all. My concern is that when I come to the other end of this thing and unsolder that same wire on this end, if any other wire in the guitar, if I bump anything or if I move anything, if it's just going to shatter that inner insulation and cause a ground situation. So I'm a little nervous about that. If it happens, we'll deal with it. And I don't even know he's going to want me to attempt to use a different type of wire. If he's got someone else that has that wire available, or what. Like I said, I'm not sure what the value is on this guitar, if he's that worried about it being 100% original. But he definitely has guitars as a player. I mean, he does collect, but if it's not playable, he's going to fix it, because I have in the past taken quite a few of his older instruments and either leveled them or refretted them, that sort of stuff, to get them playable, because that's he plays, and he doesn't need a guitar just to sit there and look at it. So he's more than likely going to have me just replace the lead in that and get it working again. But I'll let you know what happens with that, and bring you back in at that point and let you know. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, back on the Gretsch here. So I'm going to replace the wire, and I'm going to use a piece of the braided pushback. So it's braided with the cloth pushback type wire, and this is kind of like the old Gibson style wire. And like I had mentioned yesterday, and I only have like 8 minutes left on this card, so I'm just going to explain what's going on here. You can see that as I strip back the braid, the insulation just kept popping off the wire, so I didn't know how far I could go. I could seriously only go about that far and not have enough wire to get there. Now on the other end, in the control cavity, I was able to take it apart, and I'm going to look at it through my visor here. It's actually very brittle as well, and it is actually cracking. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but yeah, it's flaking off of that wire. So I don't feel remotely wrong about taking that wire out. The one that I'm connecting to in the guitar itself is the same kind of wire, but for whatever reason, that insulation isn't peeling. So I don't know what makes one section of wire do that and not the other. But I'm just going to replace the one that's going to the pickup, and I'll show you here real quick. When we took the pickup apart, we had the original piece going in here, the braid taken off and pushed through a little channel and soldered there, and then the hot lead in the center was coming over and connecting to this little wire. So I just had to tweak the little what do you want to call it, tab inside this tube to accommodate this push wire going all the way through. So that'll go through. You can see that or not. It's going through there. Why? There we go. Going through, and I'll just drop a bit of solder on there and ground that braid. Meanwhile, I will strip that back and have just the lead coming out, connect that, and then shrink tube that connection. So I won't have any problems up here if anything's shorting out. So I'm going to get the pickup end of it done, get the pickup reinstalled, and push it back through the body, and then make the connection at the pot. I'll pop in another flash card here and get some of that. All right, still got 4 minutes here on the card. So I went ahead and got this connected here, soldered into the tube, and then the pickup lead soldered to that lead. I still haven't heat shrinked, but I metered it. Set your multimeter, your 40-year-old Radio Shack digital multimeter, to 20K or 20,000 ohms. And so right at the pickup, it's reading 943, and at the end of the wire, it's the same. Just making sure that I got the solder joint good. 943. Oh, it was 942. There it is, 943. Okay, so that's going back in, and I'll bring you back.